Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the Grade 7 Modern World History Extension Seminar for Unit 1, Lesson 11. If you've ever found yourself wondering how all these historical puzzle pieces fit together to explain our global picture, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to move way beyond the basics today, focusing on key concepts, real-worked examples, and an application task that's going to challenge you to synthesize everything we've learned so you can start thinking like a true historian.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with our seminar goals, take a quick medieval foundations review, analyze ideas and change, jump into a modern times deep dive, and then wrap it all up with an application task. Let's get to it.
Section 1. Seminar Goals Beyond the Basics.
Before we really get our hands dirty applying these historical frameworks, I want you to just take a second and look around your daily life. Seriously, look around. The borders of the countries on our maps, the languages we speak, the massive global trade networks dropping packages at your front door, our political systems, absolutely none of this happened by accident. So how did it all get here? That right there, that is the big driving curiosity fueling our entire seminar today.
To crack that code, our seminar focuses on synthesizing three distinct historical frameworks: medieval systems, revolutionary ideas, and modern conflicts. Breaking these massive eras down doesn't just save us from mindlessly memorizing dates, it actually lets us actively trace the step-by-step evolution of modern society. Moving on to Section 2, Medieval Foundations Review.
For our very first framework, we've got to tackle one overarching question by zeroing in on four core pillars: power, belief, trade, and daily life. Because, think about it, by examining how people structured these aspects of their lives hundreds of years ago, we can actually start spotting the very early blueprints of our modern world. Let's look at a worked example. We're going to compare some incredibly diverse, interconnected civilizations across the globe. We'll be studying medieval China, Africa, Japan, Europe, and the Americas to trace those early global trade networks. By mapping out all these different regions, we use geography to understand exactly how unique cultures developed and, more importantly, how they interacted with one another.
Now, a super crucial concept application here is mastering some heavy-hitting power structures. Take feudalism, for example. It's a medieval system that basically structured society entirely around relationships, holding land, and exchanging labor. And getting a solid grip on concrete examples of these power dynamics is absolutely essential. Why? Because it helps us analyze exactly why societies eventually felt the pressure to change everything up.
All right, Section 3, Ideas and Change.
This brings us to a fascinating seminar question that treats history like a giant laboratory. Why do certain ideas spark massive, world-altering revolutions? It's kind of wild when you think about it, right? I mean, an idea is literally just a thought in someone's head. But under the exact right conditions, a new scientific or political concept can completely rewrite the rules of how humans live together. We can actually trace the domino effect of these new scientific and political ideas step by step through 5 major historical shifts. First, we kick off with the cultural rebirth of the Renaissance. Then, we roll right into the religious shifts of the Reformation and the deep intellectual awakenings of the Enlightenment. Now, those ideas, they inevitably spark massive political revolutions, which lead us straight into industrialization. It is literally a perfect, logical chain reaction of human progress.
And by analyzing these specific movements, we can evaluate exactly how industrial change reshaped human existence. Just imagine, moving from a world totally driven by farming and intense manual labor to one powered by giant machines and factories. That industrial change transformed literally everything about everyday human life. I mean, it completely altered where people lived, the way they worked, and what they demanded from their governments.
Which brings us to Section 4, Modern Times Deep Dive.
This essential question right here is your ultimate mystery to solve in this seminar. You're going to analyze the incredible tensions and the wild transformations of the 20th century. The modern era is honestly defined by extreme highs and devastatingly extreme lows. On one hand, we see incredible, unprecedented advancements in how humans connect. But on the other, we see global conflict on a scale never seen before. Our job is to figure out how both of those forces crash together to shape our current reality.
To solve that mystery, we need another worked example. We've got to clearly break down powerful forces like imperialism, which is a policy all about a country extending its power and influence through diplomacy or military force. Because when you have multiple nations all fired up by a strong sense of nationalism trying to expand their imperial power at the exact same time, well, you are setting the stage for some catastrophic global collisions.
So, we're going to balance our analysis of truly devastating global conflicts, World War I, World War II, and the Cold War, by also examining how modern nations started forming new alliances. We have to evaluate how the contemporary world managed to emerge from those ashes to create global institutions, ultimately becoming more economically and politically connected than at any other point in history.
Finally, Section 5. Application Task. Connecting Past to Present.
All right, here is your ultimate transfer task for this seminar. You need to compare historical perspectives and use every single thing we've talked about to analyze the global issues happening right now. Look, we don't study history just to memorize what happened yesterday. We study it to understand what on earth is happening today. Whether you're scrolling through the news, trying to wrap your head around international relations, or just watching the economy, the skills and knowledge you're picking up from studying these eras, they are basically your decoder ring for the contemporary world.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, kind of provocative thought. You aren't just a passive observer of history sitting on the sidelines. You are an active participant in it. The choices your generation makes today will literally be the history that someone else studies 100 years from now. So, how will understanding the triumphs and the huge mistakes of the past help you shape a better history for tomorrow? I am so excited to see how you apply these skills in your transfer tasks. Thanks so much for joining me today.